The day Austin Brennan fired me was the same day he destroyed his own future. The funny part? He didn't even realize it. Not when he stood at the head of the boardroom, not when he stole credit for my invention. Not when he raised a champagne glass and celebrated, and definitely not when he ordered security to escort me from the building. No. The realization came much later, after the lawsuits, after the investors fled, after the banks froze his accounts, after the company lost hundreds of millions of dollars. By then, it was too late. My name is Oliver West. For 15 years, I was the lead inventor at Brennan Technologies. The company wasn't my creation, but the technology that made it famous was. A cybersecurity platform called Aegis Core. Governments used it, banks depended on it, hospitals trusted it, entire corporate networks relied on it. Industry analysts estimated its value at nearly $1.8 billion. People called it revolutionary. For me, it was 15 years of sacrifice, missed birthdays, lost relationships, countless nights sleeping in my office, years of work poured into a single invention. Then along came Austin Brennan, the CEO's son, 28 years old, MBA, designer suits, perfect smile, no real experience. But because his father owned the company, everyone treated him like a genius. The board adored him, the executives praised him, the media loved him, and Austin loved the attention. The problem was simple. He wanted success, but he didn't want to earn it. He wanted recognition without doing the work. And eventually he decided the fastest way to become a corporate superstar was to take credit for Aegis Core. My technology, my patents, my life's work. The first warning sign came 6 months before my firing. Austin started attending engineering meetings. At first, nobody thought much of it. Then he began presenting our work as his own. During investor calls, he used phrases like, my cybersecurity architecture, my innovation strategy, my development framework. Every time I heard it, my stomach tightened because none of it was his. Not one line of code, not one patent, not one breakthrough. Yet, nobody challenged him. Executives wanted promotions, board members wanted profits, investors wanted growth. The truth became inconvenient. Then things got worse. Austin started excluding me from meetings. Suddenly, important decisions happened without my knowledge. Emails stopped arriving. Conference invitations disappeared. Reports were hidden. When I asked questions, I received vague answers. I knew exactly what was happening. He was preparing the ground, creating a narrative, positioning himself as the face of the technology, positioning me as replaceable. One afternoon, I confronted him. Why am I being removed from development meetings? Austin leaned back in his chair. You worry too much. I'm asking a simple question. He smiled. The company is evolving. That answer told me everything. Because people only use vague language when they're hiding specific intentions. 3 months later, rumors started spreading. Employees whispered that leadership was planning a major restructuring. Some believed layoffs were coming. Others believed a merger was being negotiated. Nobody knew the truth. I certainly didn't expect to become the target. Then came the board meeting, the meeting that changed everything. The room was packed, executives, lawyers, board members, investors. Everyone was there. Austin stood at the front with a presentation already loaded. The first slide appeared, then the second, then the third. Each one praised Aegis Core. Each one celebrated company growth. Then came the final slide. The words appeared behind him. Intellectual property transfer complete. I frowned. Transfer? What transfer? Austin smiled. After extensive review, Brennan Technologies has completed the consolidation of all Aegis Core assets. The board applauded. I felt my pulse quicken. Then he delivered the real surprise. Effective immediately, ownership of the technology will operate entirely under corporate control. My jaw tightened. Something was wrong. Very wrong. Then Austin looked directly at me. Additionally, Mr. Oliver West's position has been eliminated. Silence, absolute silence, 15 years, gone. Just like that. Several executives looked away. A few appeared uncomfortable. Nobody spoke, nobody objected, nobody defended me. That hurt more than the firing itself, 15 years of loyalty. And not one person had the courage to speak. Austin smiled confidently, the way people smile when they think they've already won. Then he motioned toward security. Please collect Mr. West's access badge. The guard approached, I handed him the badge, then I stood, picked up my briefcase, adjusted my jacket, and asked one simple question. Austin, he smirked. What? Did you read clause 21.3? His smile faded, only slightly, but I saw it. Confusion. Then arrogance returned. Our lawyers reviewed everything. I nodded. Good. Then I smiled and I said, enjoy the celebration. And I walked out. What Austin didn't know was that 15 years earlier, the company founder had insisted on protecting inventors from exactly this situation. Back then, Brennan Technologies was much smaller. The founder believed innovation deserved protection. He understood that companies often become greedy after success arrives. So he created safeguards. One of those safeguards was Clause 21.3. The clause stated that if the inventor behind Aegis Core was removed without maintaining authorization rights, every commercial license automatically reverted to the inventor. Not the company, the inventor, me. Most people never noticed the clause. Most executives never read it. Apparently, Austin never did either. That night, I sat at home drinking coffee when my attorney called, Patricia Wells, one of the best intellectual property lawyers in Chicago. They fired you? Yes, she laughed. Not because it was funny, because it was unbelievably stupid. Do they know what happens next? No. More laughter. Then she became serious. Do you want to enforce the clause? I looked out the window, thought about 15 years, thought about the boardroom, thought about Austin's champagne toast. Yes, her response was immediate. Then tomorrow morning, everything changes. The next day, chaos erupted. At exactly 8:12 a.m., Brennan Technologies received official notice. All Aegis Core licenses had been revoked, every single one. The company's legal department exploded into panic. Emergency meetings began. Outside, counsel was hired. Executives started screaming. Austin arrived expecting another victory lap. Instead, he found disaster. The chief attorney handed him the notice. He read it twice, then 3 times. His face lost all color. This can't be right. It is. We own the technology. The attorney shook his head. No. What do you mean, no? You licensed it. Austin stared at him. The room remained silent. Then the attorney opened the contract directly to Clause 21.3, the exact clause I mentioned. The exact clause he ignored. The exact clause that was now destroying him. Within hours, major clients received notifications. Banks, hospitals, government agencies, defense contractors, every customer learned the same thing. Brennan Technologies no longer controlled the intellectual property. Panic spread immediately. Stock analysts reacted first. The share price dropped 12%, then 20, then 30. Investors demanded explanations. Journalists started asking questions. Clients delayed payments. New contracts disappeared. The company entered survival mode. Then things got even worse. Because my attorneys weren't finished, the patent licenses had been revoked. But unauthorized use was still occurring. That meant infringement, federal infringement. A judge granted an emergency injunction. The ruling froze revenue generated from Aegis Core products until ownership issues were resolved. Millions of dollars stopped moving overnight. Then banks became nervous. Credit lines were reviewed, corporate financing slowed, institutional investors started selling, the bleeding accelerated. Every day brought another crisis, another loss, another disaster. 3 weeks later, Austin finally requested a meeting. I agreed, mostly because I was curious. When he entered the conference room, I barely recognized him. The expensive confidence was gone. Dark circles sat beneath his eyes. His suit looked wrinkled. His hands shook slightly. Stress had finally arrived. He sat down across from me. Neither of us spoke at first. Finally, he cleared his throat. What do you want? I almost laughed. The irony was incredible. 3 weeks earlier, he thought he owned everything. Now he was negotiating for survival. I want nothing. His eyes narrowed, wagging. Then why are you doing this? I leaned forward. I'm not doing anything. What? You are? Confusion crossed his face. I continued. Yeah, I didn't violate the contract, Fetaende. I didn't steal intellectual property. I didn't fire anyone. I didn't ignore legal documents. The silence that followed was painful, because he knew I was right. Everything happening to him came from his own decisions. Nothing more, nothing less. That realization hurt him more than any lawsuit ever could. Months later, the company settled. The board forced Austin to resign. Several executives lost their positions. Investors demanded accountability. New leadership took over. Eventually, they negotiated a licensing agreement with me. A very expensive licensing agreement, one that recognized the true value of the technology. The final amount was never made public, but let's just say I never needed to work again. As for Austin, last I heard he was trying to rebuild his reputation through small consulting projects. Maybe he learned something, maybe he didn't. I honestly don't know. What I do know is this: the sweetest revenge isn't screaming, it isn't humiliating people, it isn't destroying lives. The sweetest revenge is staying calm while arrogant people create their own downfall. Austin thought he was stealing a patent. What he really stole was a lesson worth $1.8 billion, and he paid every penny.